Hello grade 5, this lesson will go with PA5-37 in your jump math. And this lesson talks about variables and expressions to represent equations. So at some point along the way, instead of using symbols like triangles or squares or any other kind of picture to represent an unknown, mathematicians came up with using letters to represent unknowns within equations. So at the top of page 194, you will see some examples that are written as multiplication, like 3 times t, 6 times p, and 8 times b. There is a shorter way to write those multiplication equations. So you will see that they have shortened the way to represent those as being 3t, 6 times p, or multiplied by p, would be 6p, and 8b could be shown as, or 8 times b would be represented as 8b. Whenever you see a number right beside a letter, it means that those two factors would be multiplied together. You'll also encounter the word write an expression on page 194. That means to write like an equation that you'd see here at the top that we've shown for whatever example they may be giving you. You will see some t-tables on this page that say to write an equation or expression for that situation. When you're looking at your t-table, I find you're trying to find the relationship between your numbers. It sometimes will help to look at it horizontally to see if you can find the relationship. So for this one, I have a 1 and a 6, a 2 and a 7. So looking across, I could do, well, 1 times 6 is 6, but 2 times 6 isn't 7. So I know that I'm not dealing with a multiplication pattern here. So looking again, if I maybe add 1 plus 5 would be 6, but what about 2 plus 5 going across? So when I'm looking at my 1 and my 6, if I just test it out, I have 1 plus 5 would be 6. Down here, would 2, plus 5 give me 7? And it would, so test it down here, 3 plus 5 would be 8. So all of these, if I add 5 to them, that is the pattern that I'm seeing here. So to write an equation for this t-table, whatever a is, if I add 5 to it, I will get b. So that's my equation for that t-table. For this one, I have 1 and a 5, 2 and 10, and 3 and 15. So you can look this way. You can also look down and see if you notice a pattern vertically as well. That may help. And see what you can come up with. So between 1 and 5, I could add 4, but will that work for the next two numbers? It won't, because 2 plus 4 would give me 6. So in this situation, I'm going to test out multiplication. 1 times 5 would give me 5. For down here, 2 times 5 would give me 10. And the pattern still works when I get to the last set, 3 times 5 as 15. So if I'm writing an equation to represent the pattern that I'm seeing in this t-table, I could represent it as whatever a is times 5 gives me b. The next lesson on PA5-38, I will show you what to do if you see two unknowns within an equation.